company that makes the handmade horns and
The port.
and that's, these they were
Wow.
8,000.
Yo, what's up? Bob here. If you watched my video last week, there were a couple elephants in the room that I didn't mention because I had this insane haul of metal and punk records that I wanted to share with you guys, and I didn't want to get into. These big boutique horn speakers that are behind me right now. These are Continent's horn speakers, and I just got them. I'm just kind of, trying some different things with my rig right now, and I thought that I would try these big old speakers, bigger speakers, bigger sound. I still have the wood ring open baffle speakers. I love those. They're right in the other room. Don't worry. But today I thought we would get into some reference material, some auditioning records that I use whenever I get a new piece of gear. These are some, I have many, but these are some of my current choices for reference records to audition new pieces of gear. I thought I would start out with something that everybody can get. It's not hard. You can go right to your local record store and buy this. Ike Quebec, Heavy Soul. Boy, oh boy, this is a brand new Blue Note Classic Vinyl Series record, mastered, of course, by Kevin Gray at Coherent Audio, and it sounds incredible. Ike, big, fat, beautiful saxophone tone. Freddie Roach is on here, Milt Hinton, Al Harewood. I mean, this is fantastic sounding record. Of course, it is on your typical Blue Note label, and if you're not familiar with Ike Quebec, you should become familiar with him. All of his records sound fantastic if you're into big, luscious saxophone tone. $28, not too bad, not too bad. When I want to hear acoustic solo guitar, oftentimes turn to this record, Michael Hedges' Aerial Boundaries. This is on Windham Hill, right? And it might be the only Windham Hills record you should have. I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I just mean if you're going to have a Windham Hills record, this should be the one. Michael Hedges' Aerial Boundaries. Michael Hedges, acoustic guitar virtuoso of the highest sense. Beautiful tone coming out of an old D28 Sunrise pickup. Insanely complex rig. I believe Hedges used nickel strings on his guitar. Fun fact. That said, this is a spectacular sounding record. And, Hedges oftentimes also plays a harp guitar that has incredible low end. It has like 4 or 5 like bass strings and then the 6 strings of a regular guitar. So check that out. Very cool. But this is a beautiful sounding record. Aerial Boundaries, title track, amazing. Rickover's Dream, Ragamuffin, all the tunes are on here. One of my favorite ones to listen to when I'm auditioning is Spare Change. It's an incredible tune, and the sonics on it are out of this world. He's just laying out this big ambient soundscape that you really can't go wrong with. When this came out on Record Store Day, I knew that I wanted it, but I didn't know one secret thing about it. This particular record was mastered with Kevin Gray's all-tube signal chain. That's an all-tube mastering chain. This is War's greatest hits. We all know this record. It's around in all the record shops. And by the way, the original pressing of this sounds quite good as well. But if you can get this limited gold vinyl one from Record Store Day, you can get that Kevin Gray all tube magic. Yes. And this sounds beautiful. My reference track on here that I like to listen to is Summer. It's the very last track on side 2. Yes. This came out a few years ago and it was badly needed because original pressings are up around $500 to $700, and I believe they are cut from digital files. So this is analog pressing of this record from the original master tapes. It is a 3 LP set. It is Tom Petty's Wildflowers and all the rest. This is a fantastic sounding record. It is absolutely beautiful. CB in the dead wax. That's right, this is mastered by Chris Bellman. He did a wonderful job. Super warm, huge, detailed. It's everything that you would want in the Wildflowers record. It is on, the gold Warner Brothers label. These really cool looking inner sleeves. They're like a heavy cardstock. The tracks that I like to use on this record, It's Good to Be King is fantastic. You Wreck Me is on here, which is really good. You Don't Know How It Feels is the big hit off this record, but this thing sounds incredible. It's still available. You can go get this, no problem. And it is definitely audition worthy, and it is a straight reference quality record. So this is probably one of the top 10 best sounding records in my collection. Speaking of great sounding records in my collection, this will come as no surprise to any of you. Paul Simon, Graceland, You Can Call Me Al, was a smash hit off of this record. And it's still a jam. You know, big, huge bass line, tons of percussion, and lots of different sounds on this record. The way that the stereo field is arranged is really interesting. Paul Simon, his voice right there in the middle, big and clear. This is a beautiful sounding record. I also have the more modern RTI press reissue. I believe RKS. Ryan K. Smith did this one. Yep. And it sounds pretty good too, but I think the original sounds as good or better than the Ryan K. Smith. And if you can find a really clean one, I would suggest it. If not, just go with the reissue. Yeah, it sounds wonderful. And we'll do a little bonus here for the fans of the Dan, Steely Dan heads out there. If you didn't want to get one of the $150 UHQRs, but you wanted to hear a little Steely Dan in 45 RPM, you could get this 4 tracks from Steely Dan. This is, I believe, a German import from Jim. It looks like this. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It has Do It Again, Dallas, Haitian Divorce, which is the tune that I usually choose to listen to. And it has Sail the Waterway, which is also a pretty cool tune. I don't think this is an expensive record, but it sounds quite nice. And if you wanted to hear Do It Again, in particular, at 45, this one has a fantastic sounding version on there. Little stack of reference quality records that you can put on and test your new equipment with, or just put on and listen to and enjoy the wonderful sounds coming off of these pieces of wax. Just thought I would come in and show you guys those records because I have been living with these big old refrigerator mini fridges in here. These are sort of JBL Alltech type speakers, you know, a 15 and a big horn. You know, the magnet on the back of these horns is like this big, and the port is like this big. So they sound massive and really, really sweet sounding, open sounding, big sounding speakers. They are very nice. Until we meet again, that's right, folks. Bye out.